Subtlety has never been her strong point. Nuance, context, talk to the hand. But tweets, 140 characters each, even two of them should not have exhausted her attention span. Yet our number one story tonight is the State Department made another attempt to free two American hikers detained in Iran. Sarah Palin interpreted that as the U.S. sending Iranian President Ahmadinejad a kind of candygram. It started with two tweets from State Department spokesman P.J. Crowley. Happy birthday, President Ahmadinejad. Celebrate by sending Josh Fattal and Shane Bauer home. What a gift that would be. Your 54th year was full of lost opportunities. Hope in your 55th year you will open Iran to a different relationship with the world. The sarcastic nature apparently lost on Mrs. Palin. She soon followed with two tweets of her own. Happy B-Day Ahmadinejad wish sent by U.S. Gov. Mind-boggling foreign policy, kowtow and coddle enemies, snub allies. Obama doctrine is nonsense. Americans awaken to bizarre national security thinking of Obama. Ahmadinejad B-Day greeting after call for Israel's destruction speaks volumes. Palin stepping out of the foreign policy arena, her area of expertise, to appear last night at a rally in Anchorage for Republican Senate nominee Joe Miller. The latest polls put Miller in third behind Senator Lisa Murkowski and Democrat Scott McAdams, perhaps prompting Mr. Miller to tell the crowd that the only thing left in his arsenal is, quote, prayer. Prayer and several pre-taped video messages from Inhofe, Dement, Huckabee, Bachmann. As for Palin, her participation at the event seemed less about her support for Mr. Miller and more about her personal grudge against Senator Murkowski. The New York Times reported that after she spoke, Palin stood away from the stage with her husband and others for a few minutes, chatting, taking pictures, and scrolling through her phone as Mr. Miller spoke. He never thanked her publicly, and she appeared to leave before he was finished. This following comments made to London's Telegraph by Palin's Fox News colleague, Karl Rove. Mr. Rove questioning Palin's ability to be president by pointing to her involvement in her own reality show. I am not certain how that fits in the American calculus if that helps me see you in the Oval Office. There are high standards that the American people have for the presidency, and they require a certain level of gravitas. The half-governor countered that with an appearance on Entertainment Tonight. Here's Sister Sarah telling Mary Hart about her presidential ambitions.
It's going to entail a discussion with my family, a real close look at the lay of the land, and to consider whether there are those with that common sense, conservative, pro-Constitution passion, whether there are already candidates out there who can do the job, or whether there's nobody willing to do it and to make the tough choices and not care what the critics are going to say about you, just going forward according to what I believe the priority should be. If there's nobody else to do it, then of course I would believe that we should do this.
Joining me now, Democratic strategist Chris Kofinas. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Keith.
The most relevant part of all of this news here is that Joe Miller event, or did she not see it as a Joe Miller event? It was only a kind of a get even with the Murkowski's event?
I think this has always been about Murkowski. This battle that Palin has had with the Murkowski family dates back years, and clearly now this is the first appearance she has had with Miller. You know, spends 15 minutes and then basically runs off the stage. What she sees is his campaign imploding, and the consequences of that for her brand, not only in Alaska but politically across the country, I think she realizes is pretty damaging. But at the end of the day, I think Miller had it right. You know, given where the polling is and how quickly he has collapsed, prayer may be the only thing that saves him.
This presidency stuff boils down to if there's no one else, she'll step in. If, you know, the 200 million or so more qualified Americans all decide they don't want to run. Is Entertainment Tonight her idea of branching out beyond Fox News to the mainstream news media?
I think apparently so. I'm not sure if this is an insult or a threat to the Republican Party. Either way, it's not a good thing. You know, I think the Republican Party has now officially entered the fifth circle of hell because, you know, Palin's wrath is going to come regardless of whether she runs or not. I mean, if she runs, she's going to stand on the sidelines and drive the Republican Party to the far extreme right. If she doesn't run, she's going to stand on the sidelines and drive the Republican Party to the extreme right. It is a lose-lose situation, and I think you've already seen the consequences of this play out, not only in the Senate race in Alaska, but the Senate race in Nevada, in Colorado, in Delaware, where the Republicans had, you know, I dare say this, more mainstream candidates that have probably been much more competitive. But if they lose, they will lose because these Palin candidates are just completely out of touch with where voters are.
The Ahmadinejad tweets, I mean, we usually only know of her policy positions through Twitter and Facebook, but I mean, honestly, it was half overture, half satire in there, and it was double-length tweet. It was 280 characters. Was that too subtle for her in some way?
Apparently so, but we got a glimpse, Keith, of what it will look like if she becomes president. She will bomb another country via Twitter. Bombs are on the way. Watch out. This, I think, again, is stunning, given the fact that her entire post-vice president candidate career has been basically twittering about policies or political issues. And you need more substance than that if you're going to run for president. But again, I think it's her strategy to basically go outside the mainstream media, go outside and not have to have any kind of filter or debate or discussion. It just begs the question, what does she think is going to happen if she runs for president? You can't Twitter on the stage during those debates. You're going to actually have to answer questions and actually do press interviews.
But and the sort of preview of that, Mr. Rove's comments, is that a declaration of war by Mr. Rove, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, Karl Rove, I think, realizes what a disaster Sarah Palin has been for the Republican Party. Regardless of what happens on election night on Tuesday, Karl Rove sits back and thinks what we could have won had Sarah Palin not gotten involved. And now he looks forward to 2012, and he says, can you imagine the disaster in the Republican primary field if she runs? And so when he looks in terms of which horse is he going to back, I can tell you it's very simple. He's going to back any horse that's not Sarah Palin. He does not want Sarah Palin to run. I think she's going to run because she cannot help it. She loves the spotlight, and that, I think, is going to be damaging for the Republican Party. And from the Democrats' perspective, that is probably a godsend.
It could run a horse. It could be a better choice. The Democratic strategist, Chris Kafinas, thanks for your time tonight. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Keith. You too.